for being here tonight and coming to watch our work. It means a great deal to me. I really appreciate it, and I hope we can provide you with some insight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for starters, this is a character that you've now played for, was it 14 years?
It's 15 for
15?
me. 15.
Okay. Wow. Which you first started playing when you were 29?
I was 28.
28, oh my goodness, that's a long time.
Yeah, so I was cast when I was 28 in April 2009, and we started the film in January 2010, the first Thor, I should say, and yes, during the course of that, I turned 29, and then by the time the movie came out in 2011, I was 30. It has been the most extraordinary roller coaster of my life. It changed my life completely, and has changed the course of my life, and it has been a great surprise and a great delight, and the journey of 1,000 miles, and I never expected to be here 15 years later, still playing a character, still trying to reinvent and redefine and reinvigorate him. But he's so interesting and so complex and has so much depth and range that it always feels like something new to discover. And it's been an honor, to be honest.
And this is a character who, I mean, you know, we've seen die and has come back. I mean, how many iterations, at how many points over the course of playing Loki did you think, okay, well, we're going to close the chapter on this character now, and then you wind up reopening it?
There were two, I think, two officially. One was making Thor: The Dark World in the original script in the realm of Svartalfheim, the home of the Dark Elves. Thor is losing a fight with a character called Algrim, or Curse, who is a very powerful Dark Elf, and Loki joins the fray and sacrifices himself to save his brother. And I played it, both Chris Hemsworth and I played it for real, because we thought it was real. And it was only when Marvel Studios did some test screenings of the film, and everybody in the audience is given a piece of paper to submit questions or concerns, and every single person, I think, said that, you know, to the answer to the question, is there anything particularly you found confusing? And everybody said, surely Loki's not actually dead. And they realized that the audience's curiosity and investment in the character was, they thought, well, let's rethink this, and so we redrafted the ending, which was thrilling, and then I got to stick around. And then the second time was Avengers: Infinity War. In the first scene of that film, Loki, in an attempt to distract Thanos from torturing Thor, his brother, he tries to talk his way around and out of it, but ultimately truly gives his life to save his brother, and it felt tragic and redemptive, and really did feel final at the time. And then a year later, Avengers Endgame, and Loki bends down the Avengers time travel back to 2012, and at the end of when Loki's arrest in Stark Tower, and Loki picks up the Tesseract, and in the melee there's a distraction, I think because the Hulk has to take the stairs, and then Tony Stark has a heart attack, and Robert Redford's very confused, and in the melee Loki picks up the Tesseract and disappears in a puff of smoke. And that was the starting point for Loki, the series on Disney Plus for season 1. Whereupon, as I'm sure you're aware, he is apprehended and arrested by agents of the TVA, the organization that orders the unfolding of reality, and he's tried for crimes against the timeline, taken literally out of time. Guardians a second chance.
And let's talk about Loki, the show.
Sure.
It's thematically very different from, you know, the tone, too, of the Avengers movies. It's, you know, Loki, the show, it's absurdist and surreal and retro-futuristic. How do you adapt that character in the way that we had seen him previously in the big blockbuster movies to, you know, what feels sometimes like a very almost claustrophobic kind of set?
Well, initially, the great thrill of the pitch was that if the TVA, as a bureaucratic institution, represents order, Loki would represent chaos. And out of that conflict would arise the drama. And something I was extremely excited by in the first season was to strip Loki of everything that was familiar to him. Literally of his clothes, but of his brother, of his father, of his home, of his status, of his name. He's given a number. He's a variant L11. No, I'm really, this is season 1, so I'm testing that. Thank you very much.
Nice, we've got Loki experts.
And this elevated high status character is reduced to a number, and his colourful and eventful life, full of feeling and emotion, is a file on a shelf, in a drawer, in an archive. And that would be, I think, in any story, to have a character watch a highlight reel of their life. But in Loki's case, a catalogue of mistakes, missteps, and failures in relationship would create a kind of existential shock and despair and challenge even the hardest of hearts and the most fundamentalist of mindsets to change. And so the whole theme of our show became about identity. Who are we really? Can we change? Are we in control of our own destiny? Do we have free will? Is reality simply unfolding according to some predetermined diktat? And who gets to write that? Who's in control? And that actually, in order to be the best version of ourselves, we have to make peace with the past. We have to own up to our mistakes. We have to accept our failures and acknowledge our shadow. And only then do you have the capacity to change, to redefine yourself, to redefine the location of meaning in your life. For Loki, to redefine his glorious purpose. And that became the theme of the show, and it extends across every character as well. You can almost write a sort of a thesis on identity as it relates to Mobius, as it relates to Sylvie, as it relates to B-15. Who are we really? Who are any of us? And are we the masters of our own fate? Are we the captains of our own soul? And I hope that the conclusion of season 2 is that you, through that confrontation and Loki's desperation and drive to find new meaning and new purpose, he has found a place to belong, and he has healed his broken heart and given his life meaning.
And yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that phrase, glorious purpose, because I mean, so much of his journey is rethinking his own purpose, right? And